Hi everyone, it's Doing Fash Hakin with Doing Fash Events. Today I'm going to be talking about a few mistakes that brides make during the planning process. The very first one I'm going to be talking about is picking out your venue too early. Picking out your venue before you know your budget is a big mistake. Because imagine picking out a venue that costs about $50,000 and then you end up finding out that your budget is going to be about $70,000. So that means you only have $20,000 to spend on every other thing. And believe me, you have 10 other things to spend money on. You have your decoration, you still have food, you still have drinks. Sometimes the venue may have come with the food and drinks, but then you still have your wedding cake, you still have your invitations, your menu cards, you have your photography, your video, you have so many other things you still have to spend money on. So I'll say never pick your venue too early. Before you pick your venue, the first thing you need to do is have your budget, so that way you know if that budget matches the venue. You want to make sure your venue fits into the budget you've set up for the wedding. Also, have your guest list before you select a venue. Imagine selecting a venue that fits 200 people, and then you find out that your guest count is 400. Now, how are you going to do this? I mean, I've seen people who make that mistake, and what they did was they had guests standing over other guests. You don't want that to be your wedding. So make sure you put your budget together, you have a guest count before you pick your venue. The second mistake I would like to talk about that brides sometimes make is selecting family members as your wedding vendors. If your family member is not a professional, if this is not what he does for a living, you don't want him to be your wedding vendor because anything can go wrong. Imagine having Uncle Harry as your wedding photographer. And Uncle Harry has never even done a wedding before, but he owns a really good, nice camera. And then on the day of the wedding, something happens and it crashes and then you lose all your pictures. Or imagine Uncle Harry trying to have fun with all the guests because he's a family member and he's seen other family members that he knows and he's trying to have fun with them. He's drinking with them, dancing with them. He's going to miss some of the most important shots at your wedding. And if he's drunk, he's going to be taking crazy pictures. Make sure all your vendors are professionals. Even if it's a family member, make sure they know what they're doing and they've been doing this for a while, and your wedding is not going to be the test for them. Another mistake that brides make while planning their wedding is being afraid to talk to their parents. It's your wedding. Even though sometimes they may have a say in the wedding because they're helping to pay for the wedding or they're paying for some of the wedding, it's still your wedding. You still have to be happy on that day because it's all about you. It should be all about you and your groom. So make sure you talk to your parents. Let them know your ideas for your wedding day. Let them know how many people you want to have at your wedding. It's okay not to have 600 guests or 1,000 guests that your parents want you to have. Sit them down, talk to them, and tell them that the quality of the wedding is going to be affected if you have too many people at your wedding. It's not going to have the feeling of intimacy anymore. It's not going to have the feeling of warmth anymore if you have 1,000 people at your wedding. You're probably not going to know everybody there. So tell them you want to be able to visit every guest at your wedding, go around the tables and say hi to them, give them hugs, thank them for coming. Also tell them that you'd like just people that you know by name to be at your wedding. That way you can have the wedding of your dreams if you're able to talk to your parents. Another great mistake that people make is having too many people be involved in your wedding, allowing too many opinions during your wedding planning process. We've done weddings where we'd have the brother-in-law, the sister-in-law's uncle, the grandparents, the parents, just too many people, the best friend, the best friend's best friend. Everybody wants to say something about the wedding. Everyone wants to tell you what your wedding should look like. Everyone wants to tell you where you should have your wedding, how you should have your wedding. You don't have to have too many people involved in your wedding planning process, especially when you have a wedding planner. And even if you don't have a wedding planner, you know what you want already. So having too many people is just going to bring confusion. So whenever I help brides with their dress shopping, when we go to look for wedding dresses, I always tell those brides, please don't come with more than 2 or 3 people. Because if you come with like 8 people, like all your bridesmaids, everyone has different tastes. You're going to be confused because this one's going to like the ball dress, the other person's going to like the fit and flare, and somebody else is going to like the mermaid, and you're just not going to be able to pick something that day. It's the same thing with cake. Someone is going to say, I like this flavor, I don't like that flavor. I like this cake, I don't like that cake. So it's just going to be too much confusion. So limit the people that are involved with your wedding planning process. You know, leave it to just your parents and maybe like 2 really good friends, and that's it. And if you have a wedding planner, of course, you know, your wedding planner will be part of the people helping you make decisions. But don't have too many people. That's just going to bring confusion, and you're going to get really stressed out planning your wedding. One mistake that brides make that I don't really like, and I always tell my brides, please don't do that, is having your ceremony venue and reception venue far apart. I tell people the rule of thumb is 30 minutes. Yes, there's this church that is beautiful, it's a cathedral, it's amazing, I have to get married there. And there's another reception like an hour away that I really have to, you know, have my reception at. When you do that, you're making a big mistake. Because the first thing is, you're going to be losing a lot of money that way. And I'll give an example why. So for instance, you have your photographer and videographer, right? When they're driving from your church to your reception, which is an hour apart, they're going to calculate that into the hours you've paid for. They're not going to deduct that from your hours. So if you've paid for 7 hours, that 1 hour that they're using to drive is going to be part of the 7 hours. So you're losing money that way. And you can't really save money with repurposing your flowers that you used at the ceremony at the reception venue, because it's going to be chaotic logistics wise, because it's 1 hour, you know, driving for the ceremony to the reception. You don't want your florist still setting up at the reception while the guests are already coming in. So you're also losing money that way. So the best thing to do is have your ceremony close to your reception, or even better, have it at the same location. Guess what? When you have it at the same location, all you need to do is bring in those centerpieces you used at your ceremony and put them on the tables for the reception. You're gonna save like thousands of dollars that way. You save tons and tons of money that way. Well, I hope all these tips have been really helpful. I hope you're not going to make any of these mistakes while planning your wedding. Hope to see you next time.